In this episode, I'm going to go over 4 tools that you can use to build confidence in your young athlete. Hey there, I'm Eli Straw, mental performance coach and the founder of SuccessStartsWithin.com. Now, tool number 1 is you want to help them change their thinking, and this is known as self-talk. Self-talk is a fantastic tool for young athletes to learn that's going to drastically increase their confidence. Because when we think about where confidence comes from, whether it's younger athletes or older athletes, it's all going to begin with the way they think about themselves. If a young athlete can begin to take control of their thinking, think more positively, think more confidently, naturally you're going to see their confidence increase. Now, what you can do to get them to begin changing their thinking and get them to develop more confident self-talk is have them list out kind of all the thoughts that they normally have about themselves on a daily basis, and especially during games and during practices. Then you want to go back and you want to look over that list with them and you want to ask them, which of these are building your confidence? Which of these work against your confidence? Now, the ones that work against their confidence, you want to cross them out and you want to come up with a positive alternative. So an alternative to that statement that would work on building their confidence. Now, here's the most important part about changing your young athletes' thinking and getting them to build more confident self-talk. You want to begin reviewing this list with them. To be honest with you, the best thing to do would be to review it with them every day, but at least do it a few times a week. When you review this list of confidence building statements with your young athlete, what this is doing is it's working to change the way that they actually think. Thought patterns are formed through repetition. The more a young athlete thinks a certain way, the more likely they're going to think that way in the future. So right now, if you can practice getting them to think more confidently, that's going to translate into them naturally thinking more confidently as they get older. And then tool number 2 is mental rehearsal. Mental rehearsal is also known as visualization, and it is a fantastic tool that young athletes can use to build confidence in themselves. Now, mental rehearsal is one of the many tools that I go over in the Mentally Tough Kid course, which is a 6-module course that's going to teach your young athlete all the mental training tools and techniques they need to build a strong mindset. To learn more about that course, I put the link in the description below. Now, mental rehearsal, also known as visualization, like I said, is where your young athlete closes their eyes and just imagines themselves performing. I love visualization so much with younger athletes because they already have such a great imagination. Now, you can have as much fun with this process as you want, but the main idea is get them, a few times a week to begin visualizing themselves performing well. The more the young athlete sees themselves performing well, the more that's going to build that memory of success in their mind and increase the belief that they can go out there and perform well in the future. Tool number 3 is to identify their strengths. This is where you can work with your young athlete to go through and list out all the strengths they have within their game. This is going to be very similar to the self-talk exercise that we talked about 2 tools ago. Once you've listed out all of their strengths, you once again want to go back and review them with them. Now, a key idea behind honestly all of these tools is this idea of repetition. The reason that repetition is so important is because confidence is built through repetition. It's built through that belief of, I've done this before, I can do it again. I've thought confidently for this many days, so I'm feeling more confident. The younger you can get your young athlete to practice this idea of repetition and focusing on what they did well, feeding themselves confidence-building thoughts, the more their confidence is going to grow. So really all of these tools are geared towards that idea of repetition. So once again, make sure that they come up with that list of their strengths, and then you can review this with them at least a few times a week, if not every day. And then tool number 4 is a confidence resume. Now, this is a really fun exercise that you can do with your young athlete because it kind of combines the self-talk, a little bit of mental rehearsal in all honesty, and the strengths exercise. So with this confidence resume, you're going to help your young athlete write this resume just like they were applying for a job. But instead of saying, okay, these are the reasons why I'm a good candidate for this job, you're going to say, these are the reasons why I have to feel confident as an athlete. Now, they can write this in a paragraph. They can write this, with a bunch of bullet points. But the main idea is getting them to write down all the reasons why they have to feel confident about themselves. And then once again, it's all about repetition. Get your young athlete to go back and review that confidence resume to themselves every single day, or at least a few times a week. Now, with all of these exercises, except for the mental rehearsal, so the changing your thinking, the self-talk, the strengths, and then the confidence resume, something that you can do, is write it on a piece of paper, print it out, and maybe put it in their room somewhere, or put it next to their bed, or put it in the bathroom. Just put it in a place where the young athlete can start seeing it and start reviewing it. This is such a cool thing for them to do because it begins training them in the idea of repetition and focusing on the reasons that they have to feel confident. Now, confidence is just one of the many mental skills that a young athlete needs to develop a stronger mindset and to enjoy themselves more within their sport. So I've linked another video right here that goes into more detail on different mental skills that you can help your young athlete build. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and if you did, please hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. I put out new episodes each week on sports psychology and mental toughness for your young athlete. So if you want a little bit more detail on those, you can go ahead and click those links to learn more. And then number 2, you want to help them focus on what they enjoy. What's really interesting about enjoyment in terms of enjoying your sport and having fun is that a lot of it has to do with focus, right? A lot of it has to do with, is the young athlete able to go out there looking for reasons to have fun, or are they out there looking for reasons why they're not enjoying themselves as much? This is actually a tip that I use with older athletes as well, because older athletes, when they've lost that passion to play, I mean, a lot of the same factors are going to be involved in that, but for the most part, it has to do with pressure and feeling like I need to play perfectly. There's more expectations on me. And if we can change that and get them to go out there thinking, I'm really just excited to be here. I love playing. I love training, and focusing more on what they enjoy. All of a sudden, in a very short period of time, we can see that love and enjoyment come back into their sport. So for your young athlete, get them to focus more on, what they enjoy about playing. And this can be done simply by talking to them and asking them, what are you excited about for the game today? What are you excited about for practice? And asking them questions that are more tailored towards enjoyment and having fun rather than, what is your strategy for today? Are you guys going to win today? All of that is very important, but they're going to win. They're going to play better once they enjoy themselves more. And then number 3 is you want to help them focus on what they did well. This is going to happen after practices or after games. A lot of times, especially if your young athlete is dealing with perfectionism or high expectations, it's going to be very easy for them to pinpoint all the things they did wrong and brush over what they did well. So a great habit that you can get them into is focusing on what they did well first. And this can honestly be accomplished by just asking them the question, what'd you do well today? What do you feel like was good about your game? You could even ask that after you ask the question, what did you enjoy about today? So you say, what'd you enjoy about today? What were some reasons why you had fun? And then, what'd you do well today, right? What do you feel like were some positives of your performance? They might not feel like they did anything well physically, but you might then say, okay, well, were you a supportive teammate? Did you pick your teammates up? Do you feel like you tried to be a little bit more focused? By getting them to think more about what they did well, this is going to build that belief that they are playing well, which we know is going to feed into them enjoying themselves more as they move forward. So if your young athlete isn't enjoying themselves as much anymore, make sure that you follow those 3 tips to help them bring that love back into the game. In addition to these 3 tips, there are many different, just sports psychology techniques and tools that you can use to generally build your young athlete's mindset. So what I've done is I've linked another episode that goes into detail on how you can use sports psychology for your young athlete. So go ahead and watch that if you'd like. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and if you did, please hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. I put out new videos each week on sports psychology and mental toughness for your young athlete.